There are certain things that when you keep avoiding pain, your life will go on a steady decline. And here's the deal. This is how it works. There are so many lives that will never, ever change until the pain of changing becomes greater. Or rather, I should say it this way, the pain of remaining the same becomes greater than the pain of changing. When you are dressed in winter clothes and it becomes uncomfortable because of the heat to still wear winter clothes, then we'll pull them off and put on summer clothes. When the pain of remaining the same becomes greater than the pain of changing, then we'll change. But there's something that must be changed in us as life changes around us. We have to change to adapt to it, or else we would still be living in the days of Leave It the Beaver with June and Ward. And we're in a hip-hop rapping kind of a generation now, and we would be out of touch with the season, not able to connect to the generations where we are. The discipline that worked 40 and 50 years ago don't work today. Parents years ago used to be able to look at you and discipline you, and now children are like, what you looking at? But notice he told the ant here that while you're in one season, don't just enjoy the season that you're in. Use this season to put you at a position of advantage for the next season that is coming. Because things are not always going to be as good as they may be at the current time. So he says, prepare yourself in good times for bad times. That was the wisdom that God gave Joseph. He showed him, listen, the seasons are going to change. And you're getting ready to go into a season, he said, where there are going to be 7 years of prosperity, great abundance. The earth is going to yield forth her fruit. But then following those 7 good years are going to be 7 lean years of famine or depression or recession. And he was saying, you better save up some stuff when the times are good. Put away some stuff for when the times are bad. He was telling them to save for a rainy day. I don't know where some people got off believing that preparing yourself for turbulent times ahead is against faith. Please remember, faith is not a substitute for wisdom. God will give you wisdom for life, to be able to know how to live. You can't spend everything that you've got in one season, because you're going to need something when you get into another season of your life. And so he's saying, go and look at nature. Look at how an ant gathers food in the summer while things are in abundance, preparing itself for the winter season where things will be in scarcity. So you've got to prepare yourself while you're in the current season for the next season. You remember when Elijah was sitting up under a juniper tree and he was running away from Jezebel and all of this and afraid for his life, and the angel told him to rise up and to eat, drink, and refresh himself. And then he woke him up a second time and he said, eat and drink. But the first time he did it, it was to restore him for the season that he was in. But the second time that he did it, he was telling him, you need to eat because of where you're going. Feed yourself for the next season of your life. And he was able to walk in the strength of that food for 40 days. What God did for him then, he was getting him to a point where he could live beyond the month. There are so many folks that if your salary were cut off for a month, we would be in deep voodoo. I mean, if they threatened to cut your money off for a month. But you see, they prepared him. They prepared him, said, listen, I want you to eat now. And he walked in the strength of that food. There was something that happened in one season that prepared him to be able to handle the next season of scarcity that was coming in his life. Please remember that as your life experiences change, you must change your thinking. You cannot think the same way. You cannot think the same way. You shouldn't think the same way at 80 as you thought at 20. You're in a different body. You have different needs. You have different desires. At 80, there's some things you don't want to do. It's not that you can't do it. You don't want to do it. Your desires change. Your desires change.